I'm just wanting to thank you. Just wanting to make sure that I didn't turn it off.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day, it's a new life for me, and I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. A river running free, you know how I feel. Blossom on a tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me, yeah. And I'm feeling good, yeah. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies all having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when day is done, that's what I mean. And this old world is a new world and a bold world for me, yeah, yeah. Ooh, for me. Oh, stars when you shine, you know how I feel. The scent of a pine, you know how I feel. 'Cause freedom, freedom is mine, and I know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life and a new way for me. And I'm feeling good. Oh, yes, I'm feeling good. Are you feeling good out there? Oh, yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling so free. Life is so new now. Yeah, yeah. I'm feeling good.
Oh, thank you, Lori, Eric, thank you. I'm feeling good. Welcome. We welcome you this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland as we gather both here in this space and online. And we recognize that today is a new day. Every moment we have that opportunity to begin again, to open to a larger picture, to remember the truth of who we are. And some days, I don't know about you, but some days it's easier than others. They say the movement of life right now is order, disorder, reorder. Order, disorder, reorder. I used to call it the chaos theory, but I decided it was a little gentler to say order, the order that we have. It may be right, it may be wrong, it may not work for us, it may be whatever, but it was the order we knew. Life moves into disorder in order to move into reorder, into a higher place. And so our part in this journey of spirit is to open to a larger order, to the reorder, to the re-envisioning of life that supports every being everywhere. And so as we gather this morning, we hold those in Afghanistan and Haiti, all over the world, people who are saying, how do I move through this day? We have the great privilege of having food and shelter and safety to a point that many countries don't know. And so our opportunity is to open to that larger possibility. We live in a quantum field. And so in just a moment, we're going to begin our service in prayer. And if we've been out there saying, it hurts, it doesn't work, I don't like it, I'm just going to invite you to move into your heart, to know that answers are always available in an infinite field. Every one of us is a vital part of that. And Spirit moves through us now. Let's begin this service in prayer. Infinite Spirit, we open. We open to a greater understanding of life lived as love, as humanity coming together with a larger awareness of all that we are, of the divine in every being, and of the sacred path we have come to walk. All around the world, we hold divine beings in the light, surrounding, enfolding, using the power of prayer to know that we are one. We use all that is in our world to be the change we wish to see. And as we hold all of those in this community whose names are in our prayer box, in that light, in that love, we recognize the presence and power of God, of the infinite in every being, everywhere. We come together in this knowing we are willing to celebrate a new day, to recognize that good is present in our lives, and we are here to allow it to move through us out into this world. We are so blessed, and so it is. Amen. And it is good to have you with us. You know, when we come together, it's an opportunity to say, who are we? Where are we going? What's life moving for us? And I just want to share with you some of the things that are happening in this community. In 2 weeks, our service time will change. It'll go to 11, so it's a little later. You have a little more time for coffee and other things in the morning. I know we've had a lot of requests for that. So starting on September 5th, it'll go to 11 o'clock. Come on in and if you'd like, or join us online. We are happy to have you with us. Thank you for wearing masks while you're in the building. We're still doing that. We're still supporting this journey and our health. I know many of you are at home today, and we just honor the journey we are on. It is one step at a time right now. I used to say, when is life going to give us a little list of what's next? Instead, Spirit says here, let me open you to what's more. We have Our community outreach team is asking for donations now through next week. You saw some tables maybe when you came in at the back. We work with the Community Transitional School, which is the school for youth experiencing houselessness. There's also a couple other projects. Portland Community College has a bank of items they give away also, but there's a list out there: books for youth and teens, Sharpie packs, 24-count Crayola crayons, copy paper, socks for youth and adults is actually one of the most desired items. Hygiene products are also on that top list, non-perishable foods. You can donate to the outreach fund on PushPay. So when you do your regular giving online, there's a fund you can donate there if you'd rather have the team buy those. They'll be taking them over early in September for school. There will be a special gathering here tomorrow night outside for our spirit group, the leaders and everyone who participated in spirit groups. Those are our small group online journeys that we've been taking this year. They've been wonderful. A new one will start at the end of September. If you haven't connected with a small group of 8 to 10 people, it's a wonderful way. We look at a book, we talk to each other, and it's really connecting. So tomorrow evening, that'll be happening on the 23rd, 6 to 8 p.m. Please bring a chair and finger foods to share. We've got drinks for you. We also have openings for spirit group leaders. We're going to add a couple more this time. If you're interested in doing that, we provide training and we're happy to work with you. It's a great opportunity just to connect with other people on the journey. We have found that one of the most important things we can do right now is to connect, to talk with others just of our journey and where we are and look at spiritual principles. Our World Day of Prayer will be held. Unity has a World Day of Prayer. It's been doing it for several decades. It is on Thursday, September 9th. We will be doing a Labyrinth Walk. Our prayer chaplains will be out there. I'll be out there in our parking lot, so our large parking lot across the street at 7 p.m. on Thursday, September 9th. That happens so fast, but it's a great way of just walking that sacred together. We have several classes that will be coming up. There's actually 4 that I know of, and they will all be happening in September and October. It's a great opportunity to look further at that. Reverend Dick will be teaching the power of now on Tuesday nights beginning September 14th. Sharon Mitchell will be teaching CAST. If you did not get to take that class, that is a required reading, I believe, for America to see a different view in a different way. So she'll be starting, it's Tuesday nights also on September 28th. Reverend E.J. Niles will be teaching a 5-week class called The Bible and Spiral Dynamics. She actually teaches this to ministerial students and others, but it gives you a whole new view. Spiral dynamics is this theory of the change throughout humanity, and when you look at that, it makes a lot of sense of what we have. And Alan Watson, our licensed teacher, will be sharing a class. You're doing Jesus' teachings, aren't you? Okay, and it's looking at the metaphysics and what are these using Marcus Borg's book? Please tell, no. Okay, it is Mitchell's book. I apologize. It's fabulous. It really gives you, most of us have been taught a story about Jesus that is not actual. And some of you may say, Jesus, I don't even want to hear any of it. Jesus taught forgiveness. Jesus taught love. He was an activist. We have to take away these blinders that we've been given and open to a larger story of the wisdom teachers that are around us. All right, so those are just some of the things that are happening in our community. I want to take a moment and welcome any of you who are here for the first time or you haven't been here, whether you're online or you're in the sanctuary. We just want you to know Unity is a spiritual center where we honor every being where they are on their spiritual journey. We are all walking this journey together. None of us have all the answers, but together, we create a larger body of knowing. So we welcome you. There's welcome packets if you're here in the sanctuary that we'd love to get you to fill out. If any of you haven't filled out the green cards and turn it in at the end of the service, there's a basket out in the hallway. You can do that. And we just want you to know we welcome you. If you're online, you can go to our website, unityofportland.org, and fill things out there. So we are going to stand and sing. Welcome to you all. We're so happy to have you with us today. And our singers, we are just saying yes to life.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Let's do that again. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Love is my soul. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I just invite you to look around this room and to recognize, and if you're in your home, recognize we walk with sacred beings, divine beings. Namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you. And we are so, so blessed to be a part of that. As we move into our time of meditation, it's another opportunity to remember that when we move from order to disorder, the order never leaves our being. We still live in a quantum field. The silence is still within us. Many times our minds go so far out. Anybody experience that this week? Our minds go so far out. We can be hurting. We can be wanting to change things. We can just say, what am I to do? But we also recognize that we hold the order of the universe within us, and spending time getting quiet and finding the silence that's under the 50,000 thoughts that we're thinking every few moments, we recognize it's always there. And so we're just going to take a short time in meditation to remind us that this becomes the practice of reorder.
Let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be. Let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be. Oh, let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be.
As we relax our bodies, quiet our minds, and turn within, we take in that deep breath, letting go, and letting God, infinite love, divine intelligence, be God in me. I am open and receptive to the living spirit of truth within me. I breathe that in. I am open and receptive to the living spirit of truth in me, as me this day. And in the silence, I open and I let God be God in me, in the silence. For this deeper awareness of the silence that lives within me, of this still small voice of spirit that reminds me I am enough for this day, for this moment, for this sacred journey that I walk. I am grateful. And the gratitude of the next breath, of the next step of this day moves through me now as I simply say, here I am, move through me. I am so blessed. And so it is. Amen.
Let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be. Oh, let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be. Let God be God in you. Let God be God in me. Let God be God in everything. Let God be. these mighty precious days, we lift our heads above the haze, knowing we were made for these times, rising up to light the sky. In these mighty precious days, we are the ones to lead the way. The map is written on our hearts. Hand in hand we make this start. These days, oh, these mighty, mighty days. In these mighty precious days, we see ourselves in every face, and with compassion as our guide, one humanity on high. In these mighty precious days, we speak up, we're not afraid, learning how to use our voice, 'cause holding back is not a choice. We are the bridge across these false divides, reaching through the illusion to where we're all the same inside. In these mighty precious days, we lift our heads above the haze, knowing we were made for these times, rising up to light the sky. In these mighty precious days, we are the ones to lead the way. The map is written on our hearts. Hand in hand we make this start. In these mighty precious days, we see ourselves in every face, and with compassion as our guide, one humanity on high. These days,
lift our heads above the haze.
Oh, these mighty, mighty precious days,
to light the sky.
we are the ones. We are the ones.
We are the ones to lead the way. The map
Hand
is
in
written
hand,
on our
we'll
hearts.
lead the way.
Oh,
Oh, these days. Oh, we were made for these days. Yes, we were. Oh, these days.
Thank you, thank you. These mighty precious days, we were made for these days. Are we willing to accept that and to allow that to be our journey? It's not always easy, is it? It's not always our first response, but I believe a lot of what we're getting to do as we go through this idea of change, which again is order. And most of us, even if we didn't like the order, at least we knew what it was. This is what happens. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. So sometimes, though, have you looked back this week and said, could it just go back to the way it was? I don't know anybody in this room who was happy with the way it was. But it's something we can control. And so we try to hold on to that order and make that order work in our lives and just say, okay, just go back to that. And so often when life changes and we know we've been moving toward change, humanity cannot move forward on this sacred journey we're on without allowing change, being a part of change. And I'd like to say it's easy. I don't know about you, but in the individual change I've gone through in my life, it isn't. It usually isn't. Sometimes it is, but the majority of the time I get down on my knees or I'm face down somewhere thinking, no, no, no. And gradually, the tools that we have, every one of us in this room probably has enough spiritual books, centered books, spiritual self-help, whatever you want to call them, that we could wallpaper at least our house, if not several houses. We've got those. We've heard some of these principles. Now we get to pull them out and allow them to expand us when the first response might be to contract. So when life is in order and goes to disorder, Many of us spend our time trying to get back to order, when we may not realize that what it actually takes is an expansion. The root word for heaven is expansion. The word that's translated from Aramaic and the spoken language of the Bible, that root word is expansion. And our answer for this journey, again and again and again, is allowing an expansion to happen. Now, this week, when we see things that we just hurt over, and we don't want it to be that way, what comes to me, and this may happen to you, my mother's voice, who most of you know, my mother made her transition last year, it still comes. And one of her favorite Buddhist statements was, "And this too." And I would say, no, I'm not accepting that. Of course, it's the ones that I said no to that I find are coming. And what I finally learned was, and this too means I get to find a way to hold it. Because to allow reorder to come through us, and I believe that the answers are already available, they're present. We live in a quantum field. That field is intelligent. And our desire, I know, is to be a channel for those answers. That's who we are. If you look at the word God, which is such an interesting word, some of us say, no, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to allow that. My view is that there's this quantum field of intelligence. I've always heard God is a circle whose circumference is nowhere and whose center is everywhere. It's in you. It's in me. It's in every being. And so when we move from order to disorder, so often we feel like life is lost. And we spend all of our energy, first of all, figuring out, in order to control it, we have to find somebody to blame. Anybody had any blames going on this last week? I find that my answers don't come from that place. So I may have them, but I get to gently take myself back from that, because I know to create a reorder, to create something larger, and it's always something larger in me, because I'm a part of this field. And so the center of God that I am, the center of God that you are, the desire is for us to expand that. When Rumi said, "You are the universe in a static motion," it's the motion of that expansion that allows us to express who we are, to be something larger, to allow something more to move in. And when we do, individually our lives are larger, collectively our lives are larger. Now, most of us would like it in the next 10 minutes, and we'd like the answers here. What I'm finding is just even finding a place to say, wow, and this too. How do I hold it? The Serenity Prayer is a wonderful way. This idea of, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And what I've found is when I say, wow, I cannot change that, that might be right on the ground there. But I know I'm a part. There's nothing I do in my life when I allow expansion that does not touch every being in the world. And so how do I allow something more? I know I have to stop the blame. I know that. One of the things I kept doing this week was there's a lot of blame right now at people who don't believe the way we do about vaccinations or about masks or about any of the other pieces. And I have ideas of what I believe should happen. You have ideas. But what I realized is calling them stupid isn't serving a reorder. It's not creating anything. And I got really honest and I thought, I grew up with white privilege. I was the stupid to somebody else's realization that there were blinders on. We have all been the problem in different ways, in different times in our lives, even as we desire to be the best we know how to be. And this isn't to offend any of us, but it's to open our eyes. I don't know why something's happening. But I know if I will hold a center and hold a larger idea in my mind, something will happen. I will find a place where I am to touch a life. I will find something that's mine to do. And I may think it has nothing to do with that. It does. We can't change one idea in our being without touching the world. It happens all the time. And we're a part of it. And so who we are changes life. It changes the world. We're a part of the reorder. Many times we don't see it till the end of our journey. And then we're like, oh, whoa. I learned this. I chose courage here that I didn't even think I was because I was beating myself up over all the other pieces, or I was so angry at someone else, or all of the other pieces. Life is saying, move within. Find who you are and allow something more to vibrate in you, to expand in you. And when we do, something more happens. I was working with a piece that it said was a Hopi Indian chief, White Eagle, who had written about our current situation. Many of you have seen it. There's a copy out there in the entryway if you want it. It actually wasn't by the Hopi Indian chief, White Eagle. White Eagle in the Native American tradition means it's a wisdom teacher. It's a spiritual teacher. And it was written by a gentleman. His name is, I believe it is Joseph White Eagle. He is a Cree spiritual leader and up in Saskatchewan and I believe British Columbia. He is a relatively young man. He lives there with his wife and his family, but he was writing this saying, this is what we need in this time. And I just want to share with you some of it because I think it has a lot of value. He said, this moment humanity is experiencing can be seen as a door or a hole. The decision to fall in the hole or walk through the door is up to you. If you consume the news 24 hours a day with negative energy, constantly nervous with pessimism, you will fall into this hole. But if you take the opportunity to look at yourself, to rethink life and death, to take care of yourself and others, then you will walk through the portal. Take care of your home, take care of your body, connect with your spiritual home. And he goes on to give different ideas, and we may look at some of those, but I want to ask you, anybody felt like they were in a hole this week? When we feel like there's no place to go, there's nothing for us to do, our brain feels like it goes into a hole. And our job, by the way, a white eagle symbolizes the ability to rise above what's happening here and to see a larger picture. That's in the Native American tradition. That idea of an eagle is rising above so you can see a larger picture. There's a larger picture going on right now. It's happening in every corner of the world. It is tough to see. I believe all of us have a way that we can be a part of the difference. But I believe we have to commit to moving through it, to say this is a door. I choose a door. I may go through it on my knees. I may go through it back and forth over and over and over again. We never know what we're going to do. But what I know is that we have everything we need within our being. The presence and power of spirit. I was taught as a kid that, I don't know why, but my mother believed we needed to know this, that there is an absolute truth, that is the quantum field that is everywhere present. It holds within it the principles, the ideals that every one of us knows in our heart. That's what we desire. That's who we are. And there's the material reality we see around us. And that the actual truth of where we're going and who we are is in this absolute. And she would always say that's with a capital A. And you had to know that. I don't care if you were 5 or 12. You had to know that when it meant capital T truth, that meant it's a spiritual principle that is present and available at every moment. So my opportunity is to begin to, first of all, and I did it quite a few times this week, this is a door. I claim a door. I may not know what the combination is to open it right now. but it's there. And my intention is to walk through it. And then we get to begin to create. In this, he says, use every tool in your toolbox. And I've been looking at that, thinking, what do I have? What do I know? How do I expand? What I believe is that when I will allow something more, even when we have to hold a picture of women in Afghanistan, and it takes us to our knees, and we want to go in and we want to get every one of them out, and we want to change their lives. Somewhere, I have to be able to hold a larger idea in a heart that is large enough. The presence and power of God, of infinite love, is in our hearts. And when I can breathe and open it and send every being love and say, I know the truth for you. I know the truth for me. And I do believe we have to follow it with every action that we know. And we will be told what to do, where to go, how to be. This week, and you'll get to see them next week, I just received pictures, I believe they're on our Unity Facebook, Unity of Portland Facebook, of the women in Nigeria and their conference. If you haven't been on that, look at it. It is phenomenal. We were able, of course, to sponsor this. They did not show the end of it where the women, the widows and the single women received the food supplies for the next few months. That also came from this community. But so much of it, of what they learned there, is who they are as women, that they're enough. They, of course, learn the skills to be able to create income and other things. But as we say, what can I do here? Give the money you can to the highest place you know. Do the things you know to do. We have an ability here in our community, if we desire, to form a team of people that takes in a family. Right now in Portland, there are many opportunities. It takes people in our community saying, I'd like to do this. We have the ability to make a difference in lives. We're doing it on some levels, and we get to just keep saying, what's mine to do? We may find that there's something else that we're called to do. One of the stories I've been following is I call him the mayor. He's the leader of the town in India. What is it called? Pip Lantry. Many of you have heard of him, that when his daughter died, and he realized how daughters were a problem, and most of them were killed at birth. Or they were there, and he even tells in the story how that happened and what happened. And he said it took the death of his daughter, this disorder, for him to finally, when he got quiet, he got a bigger picture, and he said, what if every girl in this village was honored? And so in 2006, they began planting 101 trees for every girl that's born. They've planted somewhere around, I don't know what it is, 420,000 trees now in that village. And when they are of marrying age, they have enough income to have a dowry, and it is not an expense. And now they're celebrated, because actually for most of them it's much more than the males as they get to be age 18. And so it's like they see what's happening. What I love, and I've looked at the story, I've followed it every so often, I go and look at it again. About 4 years ago, he was sitting in these little trees, and just saying, what more can we do? And he had heard that aloe vera was something that much of the world, it was a marketable item. And so he said, what would happen if we gave enough aloe vera to every widow and single woman in our village that they could plant in between the trees? And so they have now planted groves of aloe vera and are marketing it in gel form to the world, and the women are making up to 6,000 rupees, which said was a very good income. I realized it's about $80.71 a month, but to them, it's wealth. And what I love is, what did it take for him in a village of villages and villages and villages and villages to not shut down and to blame someone else for what happened, or life, or God, or whatever's happening? What did it take for him to open his mind to a larger picture? Most of ours aren't that dramatic, but they're simply to the ideas, I'm enough to move through this day. I'm enough to know the truth about who I am and about the people around me. I'm enough not to participate in breaking down of other beings. I may have a clear opinion, but if I waste my time and my energy in that arena, I've brought the negativity into my world. I've slowed down my energy enough. Anybody feel like it? You get stuck in the mud or the tar, and it's like, how do I get through this day? How do I do this? It's all around us. Somewhere in there, we have the ability, and you might get really angry and process through all of it and do all the things you need to do, but we have the ability to say, no, I'm here to create life. I have the presence and power within me. I am more than what any of this is. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, when he said this next evolution is going to be an inner one, and he did not make it sound pretty, but he said everyone who's alive has chosen it. I use that so often in my life because I'm just like, honey, you chose this. Now, what does it take to get through the door? Whatever door it is for us, what does it take? I know this. We never walk alone. You have the presence and power of God in you. What are our prayers? Prayer that I learned are positive statements of truth. What is my idea of God, this one presence and one power that vibrates as me, that lives as me? It's divine intelligence. It's the idea. What is it Rumi said? You are not, You're not the ocean in a drop. You are the ocean in a drop. You are not a drop in the ocean. We are not a drop in this quantum field. It's holographic. We are the whole field in a drop. And that means we have everything we need. And when we begin focusing our energy and our attention away from some of what hurts, I hold it. I hold it in my prayer. I surround it. I say, what can I do in this moment? And then I say, what's mine to do in this body, in this shape, in this form right now? Because there's somebody who needs to be told by me that they're going to make it. There's somebody who needs to be shared, and there's an idea, there's a journey. There's something I need to forgive. There's something I need to open to. We are here as that movement of spirit. So I don't believe there are holes, although sometimes I sit in them for a little while. But I know what there are is there's sacred journeys, and we're called to them. We're called to go beyond them. We've lost people we love in our lives. We get to move through it. We're in situations where we say, I don't like this, I don't want this, I didn't ask for this. If we're breathing, we ask to evolve. And life loves us. I know this, every one of us is a creation of spirit, and spirit's desire for us is absolute good. There is good present right now in our lives. Our job is to breathe it in, to expand it, and to know that the reordering of humanity happens one heart at a time. We're the journey. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And if you do want a copy of this whole thing, it is, I was thrilled with it. Whoever wrote it, I decided there's wisdom present. We all get to download it, upload it. We're going to take time and receive our tithes and our love offerings. If you're doing this on your phones, I know that in just a moment they will give you the number. There is a new number now. They have gone to telephone numbers, which is part of the change that's happening. What is it? 833-814-3477. If you'd like to write a check, there's an offering basket, or whatever you want to do, there's an offering basket out there. I use this because mine is already automatic. It's one of the ways that just is another step that I don't have to do. So we thank you for being a part of Unity Spiritual Center of Portland. You may have noticed that they have begun work on the roof, and I am saying thank you, God, for that as we repair that and prepare for winter. But part of this journey of opening to a larger picture always includes our finances. It's easy to think I don't have enough, but enough is a spiritual concept, and it actually is determined by what we believe. And so I would just invite you to begin opening to the idea of enough when you walk through your door, when you get into your car, when you open your checkbook, when you look at anything. Enough is a spiritual concept that we create. And so there is enough on this planet for every human being to be safe, to be honored, to be fed, and we're a part of expanding that consciousness, and it starts with our finances. I'm going to say our blessing, and then I'd invite you to affirm it with me, because we start with divine love, the very vitalizing, harmonizing, healing energy of the universe. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Let's do that together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And we just say, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And if you are online, there you can go on our website. All right.
Walk your life, walk it proud, sing your song, sing it out, hear the music deep inside, playing in your soul. Just listen to the melody. It knows the way to go. Cry those tears, pour them out, face the fears, quiet them down. It might not be the way you planned, or what you think looks right. You gotta let your brave and faithful heart, let it take you through the night. Oh, 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 walk your life, walk it free, heed the call. Let it be, let it be, yeah, yeah. Just let it be. You gotta hear that whisper deep, deep inside, just like a lover's voice. No matter what your life has been, oh, you get to make the choice, make the choice to walk your life. Walk it now, oh, live your truth. Live it proud. Walk your life. Yeah. Live your life. walk it proud. Yeah, walk it free. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Walk your life. How powerful that is. In just a moment, we're going to stand and sing Let There Be Peace on Earth. This reading that I was working with ends with the idea that resistance means dancing and joy and allowing that life, this life that we came to live, to actually move through us. It doesn't mean being down and beaten and not able to move. And I believe that as we look at that, we recognize that peace moves through us as we allow ourselves to find the good, to find life, to find the infinite in every person, every place, and everything. And so we're going to stand and just simply hold this space of being the peacemakers, being that place of peace. All right.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And while we may not be holding hands, we can hold hearts and hold each one of us all around this planet in our hearts. We'll close with our unity prayer. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we are so blessed. Have a love-filled week. Thank you, Lori and Eric. We're so happy. And our glory singers.